Hello, my name is Kevin Connelly. I'm a licensed CPA, and this year I'll be celebrating my 10-year anniversary of working with Gross Mendelsohn. I began working at the firm as an intern in the spring of my senior year of college, and as you can tell, I haven't looked back since. I'd like to share a little bit about my experiences and why I stayed in public accounting, and more importantly, why I stayed with Gross Mendelsohn. I first heard of Gross Mendelsohn when I attended an accounting job fair at Towson University in the fall of my senior year. As most students are, I was very nervous to walk up to the booths with the various accounting firms. But when I walked up to the Gross Mendelsohn booth, I met with the director of HR, and I immediately felt comfortable talking with her and was excited to learn more about the firm. After that meeting, I just knew Gross Mendelsohn was the place I wanted to work. So my internship began the following spring, and at this point in college, I had taken all my intermediate accounting courses and I was taking advanced accounting in my final semester at Towson. Even still, I had no idea how this actually translated to the real world. In my internship, I feel like I learned a ton. More importantly, I was just very impressed by the managers and partners at the firm. It just seemed like when it came to accounting, they could solve any problem. I was also very impressed by how willing they were to help me build my skills and grow as an accountant. I was taken out to various clients and was introduced to real businesses. Before I started my internship, I thought I'd be doing very menial tasks like getting coffee, making copies, that kind of stuff. But my experience was totally different. I was getting exposed to actual businesses, and more importantly, Gross Mendelsohn was entrusting me with actual client work. By the end of the internship, I just knew that Gross Mendelsohn was the place I wanted to officially start my career. As I said, I was exposed to a lot during my internship. I worked on audits of for-profit companies as well as nonprofit organizations. I was also exposed to basic tax work, preparing personal property tax returns as well as corporate tax returns. Because of my internship, when I started full-time, I felt very comfortable at Gross Mendelsohn and the people I was working with. I was definitely still a work in progress at the time, but I was happy that I'd be learning from some really experienced accountants and just overall good people. So no, I actually graduated from Towson with 120 credits and immediately began working full time at Gross Mendelsohn. Like most new college graduates, my goal was to move out of my parents' house as soon as possible. After about a couple years working at the firm, I officially began studying for the CPA exam. It was definitely a challenge balancing my professional life and studying for the exam, and I really don't think I would have accomplished it without the flexibility afforded to me by the firm. Yes, I still needed to get my work done. However, the manager and partner group at Gross Mendelsohn, they really worked with me. They understood I was preparing for the exam. They went through the process before themselves, so they did whatever they could to help. If we were added a client, they had no problem if I left a little bit early so I could spend the rest of the evening studying. Eventually, I passed the exam, fulfilled the 150 credit hour requirement, and was officially a CPA. So yes, most people spend a few years in public, build up their skills, and then use those skills to transition into private. And to be honest, I was one of those people who envisioned that career path. But as time went on, I never felt the desire to actually leave the firm. I made some really strong bonds with many people at Gross Mendelsohn. I actually met one of my closest friends at Gross Mendelsohn. We started together as interns on the exact same day 10 years ago, and we still work together to this day. The people I was working with and the overall work environment, it just made it impossible for me to leave. Not to mention the pay wasn't so bad either. In my first couple years at Gross Mendelsohn as a staff accountant, I knew very little. Yes, I was learning every day and I was getting really good experience, but I would find out that public accounting is really just a long game. Like everything else, the longer you work at something, the better you become. It wasn't until I began working with younger staff that I could see just how far I'd come. In just a couple years of working at Gross Mendelsohn, younger staff were now looking to me for guidance and mentorship. You really don't realize how much you know until you move up and start answering the same questions that you had just years prior. As a senior accountant now, I was given much more responsibility for getting the jobs done. Upper management now depended on me to take ownership and be dependent upon. Initially, I felt very intimidated by the added responsibility, but I could always count on my mentors at the firm for guidance. I will say those years in the senior accountant role, it really transformed me. I went from having no confidence to now a ton of confidence. At this point, I felt like I had a pretty good handle on my job and just general accounting at this point. The transition to manager came with its own challenges. Now my job was not only to get the work done and on time, but I was also tasked with administrative duties like scheduling staff, setting up internal trainings, that kind of stuff. I learned that with each jump, again, you feel a little overwhelmed at the start, but it forces you to up your game and rise to that next level. So my next immediate goal is to become a principal at Gross Mendelsohn and then learn and grow into becoming a partner at the firm. Becoming a partner means you are now a business owner. You have the ultimate responsibility for client work, but you also play a role in the direction of the firm. Just like with everything else, I'm sure I'll feel a little over my head at the start, but I really think the firm, we do it right when it comes to partnership. We have a sponsorship program where 3 partners take on an employee like myself and kind of walk them through the journey of becoming a partner. We have various meetings throughout the year to discuss my progress as well as areas of improvement. So yes, this is the path I see myself headed and what's next for me. I would tell myself that you'll be just fine. Yes, there will be days that make you want to give up. There will be clients that make you want to quit, but you can do this. There is nothing that you cannot accomplish. Be a sponge, learn as much as you can. Check your ego at the door and don't be afraid to ask questions. Stay positive no matter what. And just know that in the long run, you made it a good decision in choosing Gross Mendelsohn. So in closing, this is my story so far. Thank you for allowing me to share my experiences with you, and I look forward to seeing you at the 20-year anniversary.